story of Moses and the burning bush. Moses, a man who had once lived in the palace of Egypt, had fled to the land of Midian after he killed an Egyptian guard. For years he worked as a shepherd for his father-in-law Jethro in the wilderness. Life had become quiet and peaceful for Moses, but little did he know, God was about to change his life forever. One day while Moses was tending to his flock, he came to the side of Mount Horeb, also known as the Mountain of God, and there something unusual caught his eye. A bush was on fire, but it wasn't burning up. The flames flickered, yet the bush remained intact, as if untouched by the fire. Moses was curious and moved closer to get a better look. As he approached the bush, a voice called out to him, "Moses, Moses!" He stopped in his tracks, astonished. It was God's voice. God told Moses to take off his sandals because he was standing on holy ground. Moses obeyed, and as he stood in awe, God spoke to him, revealing a powerful message. God told Moses that he had heard the cries of the Israelites, his people, who were suffering in slavery in Egypt. God had seen their pain and was about to deliver them. He had chosen Moses to go back to Egypt and lead the people out of slavery. But Moses was hesitant. He couldn't understand why God would choose him for such an important task. He had fled Egypt years ago, and now he felt unworthy. But God reassured Moses, telling him, "I will be with you." God also revealed his name to Moses, saying, "I am who I am," confirming that he is the eternal and all-powerful God who would be with Moses every step of the way. Moses was given signs to perform that would prove God's power, including turning his staff into a serpent and making his hand leprous and then healed. Despite his doubts and fears, Moses eventually obeyed God's calling and returned to Egypt. He went on to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, across the Red Sea, and toward the Promised Land, just as God had planned. The burning bush was not just a remarkable miracle, but a turning point in Moses' life. It was a divine moment where Moses encountered God's presence, and in that moment, Moses' life was forever changed. Moses went from being a shepherd in the wilderness to becoming the leader of a nation. It was all because of one encounter with the living God. This story reminds us that no matter how far we think we've strayed or how unqualified we feel, God has a purpose for our lives. He sees potential in us, even when we can't see it in ourselves. And when God calls us, he equips us to do the impossible. Type Amen if you believe God can use anyone for his purpose. Like, share, follow, and comment for more life-changing stories from the Bible.